Hello Summoner, welcome back to another ProGuides video. My name is Nathan Ng, and we're going to be talking about the 10 best solo carries on patch 12.2. These are the champions that are not overtuned enough to hard carry games and are consistently safe to blind pick with little to no bad matchups that can completely shut you down. Do note that the champions in this video are generally the most meta picks for the role, and as a result, most of them are picked or banned pretty frequently. If you're looking for champions to play that are much less contested, check out our top 3 champions to main series. The champions in those videos are still strong enough to carry with, but they're low in both pick rate and ban rate, meaning that you're much more likely to get your hands on them. Let's just hop right into it, shall we? We'll be starting things off in the top lane with Camille. Her laning phase is incredibly strong, with her versatile kit allowing you to go for short trades, all-ins, or just hang back and poke with your W. This flexibility allows you to lane against a variety of opponents without much of an issue. 2 of the matchups that she actually does struggle with are Tahm Kench and Shen, but both of them are seeing pretty decent nerfs this patch, so maybe you'll be able to deal with them after all. Being an OP solo carry isn't just about the laning phase though. There's also Camille's insane scaling. Plenty of champions have true damage in their kits, but none of them pump it out like Camille. She basically has Cho'Gath's ultimate on her Q. There's simply nothing balanced about 700 plus true damage every few seconds. Whether you're trying to learn how to abuse the broken champions on this list, or how to deal with them when you end up on the wrong side of the matchup, if you really want to speed up the process, you should check out ProGuides.com. We have courses from all your favorite streamers and pros like Core JJ, Aframu, and Xsmithy to really help you understand how to play your role. And if you want a more personalized experience, we have coaches available 24/7, ready to help you become the best. Our coaches are top tier players that have spent years climbing the solo queue ladder to get where they are now, and they're ready to share everything that they've learned with you. There's no better time than now to sign up because we're running a pretty sweet deal. Just use the discount code WINTER when you check out for 20% off your sub. Now let's get back on topic, shall we? The second top laner that we have for you is Akshan. While plenty of champions can bully melee laners, no one can do it quite as well as Akshan. In fact, he's considered the best blind pick in the role at the top of the ladder. He's so dominant that it's never a question of whether you win against your opponent, it's just a matter of how badly you're able to bully them. Most lane bullies tend to fall off as the game goes on, but Akshan scales really well, so you don't really have to worry about being on a timer. Not only does he do tons of damage, but there's also that revive passive that can completely turn a game around. Now, taking a look at the junglers for this patch, we'll lead off with Xin Zhao. Despite numerous nerfs to both Xin Zhao directly and the items and runes that make him strong, he's remained a powerful force in the jungle. His early game dueling and ganking are just too good for him to be pushed out of the meta. The build that we have for you is the standard beefy bruisery one that you're probably used to seeing, but don't be afraid to mix things up. Xin can be played as full damage, with crit being particularly fun. Just bear in mind that you're obviously a lot more prone to being blown up if you go this route, so you'll definitely need to fight around having your ultimate to block damage in fights. The other jungler that you can use to totally run over games with is Hecarim, literally. Personally, I've always preferred a more battle-oriented build on Hecarim with Conqueror and Divine Sunderer as opposed to this one, but this build is just so insanely strong right now that I don't really have a choice. It makes you way too tanky for the enemy team to burst down, while Muramana and Chemtank give you plenty of damage. Trust me, you'll be absolutely one-shotting the squishy carries that you isolate in fights with your ultimate. Playing Hecarim is pretty simple. Your priority should always be on farming first, and then taking the free kills that the enemy team gives you. Don't waste too much time forcing stupid plays in the early game, and you're guaranteed to get rolling later as long as you're not far behind. Now for the mid lane, the first pick that we have for you is Pyke. Learning Pyke mid comes with a bit of a learning curve. For one, you have to learn to get really aggressive in lane. Pyke is the only mid lane champion that has absolutely no AoE damage for clearing minion waves. So if you're trying to make it a farm fest, you're going to be constantly shoved into tower and allow your opponent to chip away at plates or free roam across the map. Instead, you need to be pressuring your opponent as much as possible, threatening to hook them. You don't even have to wait for the rest of your combo to do this. Pyke does a lot of damage, especially with Hail of Blades, so a level 1 hook on a disrespectful opponent can very easily lead to an instant first blood. Once you get this lead, you can try to extend this lead to the rest of the map as fast as you can. Pyke can very easily snowball a game very fast with the constant ganks, but he does fall a bit off if you don't keep that momentum going. The other mid laner that we have for you is Viktor. The fact that Viktor hasn't been nerfed yet is kinda crazy to me. I mean, he's been one of, if not the best mid laners in the game for a couple of months now. In fact, with Qiyana and Zed both getting decent nerfs this patch, he's indirectly being buffed. Plus, there's the Lichbane buff on this patch. That item has always been a core pickup for Viktor, so you bet that he'll be milking that as well. All in all, I really expect some Viktor nerfs around the corner, so you really need to abuse him while you can. He has no real losing lanes. He either wins or can just go about even in most matchups, and either way, you're happy with the results. Being able to survive laning phase is a victory when you're playing with such an insanely hard scaling mage. Speaking of scaling mages, we're going to be moving down to the bot lane with our first champion being Veigar. Veigar has already been one of our favorite picks in the bot lane. He's underplayed, but when he is picked, he's insanely strong. He doesn't really have any bad matchups, since even aggressive foes, his cage will allow you to disengage from fights. You also don't have to worry about assassins jumping on you like you would in the mid lane. You're free to farm up and safely scale to your heart's content. Though in most bot lane matchups, you don't need to, just AFK farm. Bot lane champs being less mobile than mid laners isn't just a way to make you safer in lane. It also means that your opponents are less likely to be able to escape your baby cage. So post 6, you'll have a lot of kill pressure in lane. Even in the early game, Veigar's full combo can nearly 100 to 0 squishy opponents. So as long as your support isn't completely useless, odds are that you can start nuking the other bot laners and start farming them along with the minions. The other bot lane carry that we have for you is Jhin. While marksmen as a whole are gonna always be a little bit team reliant, out of them all, he's the best one to pick when you really want to be able to stomp that lane without needing to be totally spoon-fed. He has a really strong bursty trade with his 4th shot and Q poke, with the trade-off having lower DPS and extended fights than most ADCs. So with that in mind, most of your bot lane exchanges will be very in and out focused, at least in the early stages of the game. Once you have more AD, you'll be able to have the potential to run down your foes and go all in for the kill. While Jhin is a really potent carry on his own, he also brings a lot of utility for the team. His traps help give you the vision and even provide some zoning power around objectives, while his W and his ultimate can make picking off opponents very easy. One last major selling point that most ADC players should be enjoying is that Jhin doesn't really need as much peel as the other marksmen. He may not have true mobility like a dash or a blink, but once you have enough items, he gets a lot of movement speed from critting opponents. This movement speed makes kiting divers a breeze. Gameplay aside, Jhin is one of my favorite characters from the game. I just love everything about him, from his lore to his voice lines. What about you? For today's question of the day, I ask, who is your favorite character from League of Legends? Again, this is ignoring the champion's actual gameplay. Let us know your answers down in the comments below, and let's get back on topic. We'll be rounding things out with our supports. It's pretty hard to truly solo carry with a support given the lack of levels and income on the role, and the types of champions played there. It's not like you're gonna be locking in Yi and then just getting a penta come late game. Instead, the so-called solo carries are ones that can either make picks or just generally make big game winning plays by setting up your team for success. So with all of that said, the first pick that we have for you is Lux. Lux as a support functions exactly as she would in the mid lane, at least as long as you go with the all damage build. Obviously, you won't be doing quite as much burst as mid lane Lux, but that's fine. You may not be able to 100 to 0 beef your bruisers and tanks, but you'll still be able to one-shot squish your carries and supports, or at least get them just low enough for your teammates to finish them off. By the way, since supports make gold a lot slower than the rest of their team after the early stages of the game, it's a good idea to keep an eye on how the enemy team is itemizing. If they start buying early magic resistance, then you might want to go for a void staff right after Ludens. Otherwise, it's going to be a long time before you're able to grab it. Finishing off our list, we have Bard. His unconventional and sometimes even wonky playstyle makes him a complete wild card of a champion. Different players have all different types of ways of playing him. Some play to hard bully bot lane in 2v2s, going in for constant aggressive Q auto trades, while others hang back to play peel. Some abandon bot lane entirely, going for constant roams and helping the jungler dominate the map, and there's honestly just no right way. It's just a matter of finding the one that works for you and your team. There's also the topic of his build. While the one that we have here makes you beefy so you can go ahead and harass opponents without the fear of being blown up, there's plenty of alternative options. You can go for more utility, better roaming, full enchanter, or even a damage heavy build path. Again, it's a matter of what fits your personal playstyle. And that wraps things up for our 10 best solo carries patch 12.2 edition. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you sub so you never miss out on content like this. Remember, let us know what your favorite League of Legends champion is, judging by their lore down in the comments below. And one last thing, don't forget to check out our Discord in the description box below, where you can enter a giveaway or just hang out and be a part of the community. Can't wait to see you guys back in the next video, but until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.